in the
Thank you so much for staying with us here at Y254 channel. Yes, it's exactly 31 minutes past 9 in the AM, and we are in our last stretch of the day. Yes, and today's conversation is going to be around, or rather, it's going to revolve around personal branding. That's what we're going to be having right now. And I'm here with Patience, and she is very young, pretty. Yeah, she's looking amazing, and she is the founder of Mindset Elevation Cycle Foundation. And when you think about just the name, from the name mindset, that means that it's everything and anything that deals with the mind. So yes, she is my guest for the day today. So we're going to be having an amazing discussion together. And I'm very, very interested to know when she began this. And you know, if we're speaking about personal branding at the age of 20 years right now. So, and she didn't begin it like right now, she began it like a year or some few years ago, which she's gonna be telling us about. So it's quite an interesting conversation and an interesting journey. So that's what we are going to be having today. Good morning.
Good morning.
Please say hi to my people, and then we go on, we dive into this amazing discussion.
Hi, Y254 family. I'm Patience. I'm so happy to be here.
Amazing. Yeah, so that's Patience, and she is the founder and of this amazing foundation. So probably we can start with that. When did this foundation begin, and what was the drive behind it?
Okay, the Mindset Elevation Circle Foundation began last year in August. What drove me to start Mindset Elevation Circle is because I had a calling of doing mentorship, and also I saw a gap in the young people on realizing their own potential in a different way. When it comes from a younger person, it looks different, you know. Coming up as a young person and a mentor to start a foundation in mentoring other people is easy for people to approach you at a younger age. So that is what drove me to start Mindset Elevation Circle Foundation.
Amazing. So since you what year did you begin the foundation at?
In 2025.
So it's last year.
Yeah.
Amazing. So since you've you've identified there's this gap, and you've decided that this is what you're going to do, how far has the journey been? Because I'm very sure as a young person, challenges are there are people who are supporting you. The journey is not always smooth, but how can you describe the whole journey so far so good?
I will say so far so good, though it has had challenges. Personally, I began alone as a mentor starting the foundation, but as we went on, I found a team of people who were willing to do mentorship with me with Mindset Elevation Circle. And I will say my parents have been my biggest support in my foundation, pushing me to become a better person every day, supporting my ideas, you know, and telling me that I can be better every day. So the challenges I've faced was when I was working alone, let me say that, going to places, I needed a team, but now I have it. Another challenge, let me say finances, because you need finances to travel to places where you're going for mentorship to. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Now, since you're dealing with young people and now you began this last year, so that means it has gone to this year. Right now we're in April, headed to May. How far is the growth? Because now definitely if it's mentorship, that means that you're dealing with people's lives on a daily basis. You're trying to help people see who they are. You're trying to help people change their mindset and their perspectives about life and everything about that. So how's the progress of probably you're mentoring someone, then you see how they're growing and they change their whole perspective and their lives actually take an U-turn probably. So how far is that whole journey?
So far, we've been able to mentor many people actually. I've been able to go to also many high schools from last year to date. I can count up to 20 high schools so far. And also we've been able to go to youths and doing mentorships to them. And yeah, it's been a good journey. At an individual level, we also do mentorship. So we've seen people grow so much, changing their mindsets, evolving to know their own potential, to become better people in the society, not only locally, but also globally. So yeah, we are doing so good. Yeah.
Amazing. So now someone might think or probably wonder, you are a student, yes, you're doing nursing.
Yeah.
It's totally different from mentorship, like they don't even align at any given point. So what was the drive for you to actually see, in as much as I'm studying as a nurse, in as much as this is what I am doing, then I think I can also be a mentor, as well as something that I saw from your bio, that you are the vice chairperson of the mentorship program in your school. So how did you get to see you can bring or integrate both of them, mentorship as well as you being a nursing student?
Let me start by saying it has been my prayer for God to align me with His purpose and His will to be done in whatever He wants me to do for humanity. So balancing nursing school, that's a question I get every time. How do you balance your nursing school? Of course, medical school is so tough. You need to give it more time. But I can say God has helped me set boundaries, set timelines for whatever I am doing. So I usually create time for it. It has not been so easy, but at first, yes, I started with nursing. But as time went by, God showed me I have another purpose. I also have another, let me say, responsibility for me to do. So yeah, that is where mentorship came in. I also say I started mentorship in high school. So that is where I started mentoring girls in a group called Discipleship. I did spiritual mentorship for them. So as time went by, after school, let me say after a year, because I finished in 2024. So yeah, that's a year up to last year, August. That is when I realized that I had a purpose or a calling of delivering service to humanity through mentoring people, not only academically, also spiritually, and leading people to know Christ even more.
Amazing. Wow. Now, something that stands out for me from you is that you are very vocal about your faith, because that is something that very many young people struggle with. They're born again, but they still don't feel like it's a cool thing. They don't want to share about their faith. They don't want other people to know that they are born again. So the fact that you also said about asking God to actually show you what your purpose is. So that is something that's very commendable about you, and it's amazing. I hope you guys are learning, because yes, at the end of the day, our lives should be directed by what God wants us to do, so that you don't end up wasting forever, and then when you're old is when you're realizing that you were supposed to do a certain or a specific thing. Now, what, as a lady, as a young woman, what are some of the skills that you would advise, or probably you tell other young women to have in this era and in this time and season in life? Probably some skills that at least you should have.
One, consistency. I think consistency is what has pushed me to where I am right now. Being consistent with your values, being consistent with the person that you are. One side of you should not reflect a side of you that other people have not seen. For example, if I ask you what do you know about Peshi, and I ask someone else who is Peshi, they should tell me the same thing about me. One should not say maybe she's a bad person, the other person says she's a good person. So being consistent in your values will help you so much as a woman. And also being authentic, you know, accepting your struggles, accepting the person that you are and living in it without pretending to be someone else is what will keep you going and reaching to that place you want to be. Again, also adaptability, adapting to the society right now, you know, having your own values and knowing how the society is, learning the value of saying no when you have to say no, you know, and living according to the society, but not living with it, you know. Stick to your values, stick to the person you are, know who you are at the moment as a woman, you know. And that is one thing that will keep you going, because not even the environment will change you, because you've already adapted to the person you are. Yeah, so I think those are the three main skills I would urge women to have. Yeah.
Amazing. So I hope you've taken down your notes. Make sure you have all the skills that she's talking about, because actually what you're saying is very, very important. Especially when we're speaking about consistency. Many people give up. They expect probably results immediately. You do something, you post a video or a photo, and you expect people to react to it and be very excited.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, just 2 likes from your best friends, yeah? And you just give up and you say, this is not my thing, or I can't do this. So you've learned, and take note of that. Now, you're very confident, and from the conversations we were having, you told me how you would approach probably principals in schools, and you now have to convince them. At that time, probably you were 19 years old, and you're like, no, I need to talk to these kids. And you actually convince them to allow you speak to the kids, and at the end of the day, they are amazed by the kind of work you do. So how does confidence play a big role in what you're doing, and how can confidence shape someone's life?
Confidence is actually, again, one of the biggest skills that will keep you going. You know, ile confidence, yeah, you know I am young, you know I am small, and I'm going to face very big people, but because I am confident in what God has placed inside me, I know I'm going to stand out, and I know I'm going to speak to that person, and they're going to accept my request. So confidence plays a very big role in building your personality, actually, and it actually helps you open doors, because there's no way you're going to or make a request to somewhere that you're going to mentor and you're shivering, you know, they're asking you questions, like you're not even sure about what you want to deliver. So if you're confident, someone sees it from outside, someone can read your confidence, actually. That is one thing that has helped me a lot. Now I've been learning as time goes by that people read your confidence. People can see inside you, and actually confidence can help you reach to where you want to be.
Amazing. So it's very important to be confident. And you know, the first impression, I was listening to Walubengo, and he said that you don't give a first impression twice. So if I look at you and I see a shaking girl who's afraid, who does not even know what she wants to do, that's the picture that sticks to my mind. So confidence is very, very important, because if that is the first thing that someone notes or sees from you, that's what they're going to take. Even if you're shaking, they won't know. Even if you were shaking and say, man, I was really shaking, they're like, no, I saw someone who's confident. So that's quite interesting. Now, since you've said that you go to schools most of the times, and what you do is all about speaking to people and helping people know their purpose. Probably there's someone who's watching and they're like, okay, so how do I get to know my purpose? So how do you go about it? Probably is there something that works out generally for everyone? Because I understand now, if you're helping someone know their purpose, you need to know who they are, what they do, what they like, and all those things. But probably is there something that works out for, like, cuts across every person, that you need to get to this so that you can now start walking the path of knowing what your purpose is?
I will direct that person to God. That's actually the first thing I will do, because sometimes we feel, mostly young people, uko hapa, you don't even know what to pursue, you're jumping here and there, you don't even know who you are. But one thing I will say is that God tells us that He has a plan for us. He knows what He wants you to be and where He wants you to go, and the responsibility that he has for you. Again, he will help you know who you are. He will help you know what you want for yourself, what he wants you to serve. Again, what we are doing is service to humanity, the humanity that God has created. So he definitely has something good in store for you that he wants you to deliver. You must ask God to help you know yourself, to help you know how he wants you to be a better person in the society, you know. And again, you must stick to one thing and deliver it to God. Be vocal to what you want again about yourself. Then you will find yourself, you know, fulfilling the purpose that God has for you. We don't create our own purpose, but God does. So, yeah, I direct that person to God, because I believe he's the overall. He's the one who will give you directions. He's the one who will help you, you know what you love.
Yeah.
Najua, sometimes you may ask me what I love. I'll tell you, Eliza, I love this, I love this, I love this. But there's that one specific thing inside you that you need to know, but you cannot know it by your own strength.
Amazing. Most of the times, we walk the journey and get to ask God, you know, there are prayers we used to make probably in campus, yeah? And you would be like, God, I want to know my purpose. Please reveal what purpose you want me to do. And then when you realize the kind of purpose God has for you, you are afraid, because most of the times you feel like it's very big, yeah? For example, you are 20 years old and you're having this organization, you're going to schools, you're meeting people, older people than you, you're going to prominent people and all those things. Looking at it from a seated position, you'd be like, oh, this is a very big role. This is something super, super big. So how do you get to fight fear and really go for it? Because you've known this is your purpose and you go for it. Because most of the times what happens, I will know that this is my purpose, but I'm still afraid. I don't think like I can do it. Hey, God, man, say apana. I know, but apana, just find someone else to do it. You know, that is something that very many people struggle with. So how do I, or how is someone who's watching and they know their purpose already, but they're very afraid to actually start or approach or do whatever it is that they were supposed to do? So what, how would you advise such a person?
Okay, allow me to take you back to when I started Mindset. I was actually seated at the dining table at home, and then it's something that I was thinking so much about, but then I didn't actualize it. Juu nilikuwa like, God, nimeombea unionyeshe course nataka kufanya, ama the place you want me to be and where you want me to serve people, and you showed me that I should be a nurse, but now you're giving me
something
other
else.
Yeah, you're showing me I should be a mentor. And then I'm so young. I turned 20 at that time. I was 19. And then I'm like, how am I going even to approach these people? How am I going even to stand out in the university and speak to people? You know, kuna venye tu speak to your age mates, to help them listen to you, it needs a lot of courage.
Yeah.
So it raised a lot of fear. It all started with fear. I can't say I started with confidence. Ati shwa nikaamka nikaenda shule. I started mentoring, no. But as days go by, gaining confidence in the purpose that I have, that has risen in me, and that I've known this is what God wants to do for me, confidence started kicking in. What I would advise someone to do is start. Start when sad, start when anxious, start when with fear. That is when things rise. You know, when you sit down, useme, I'm going to start maybe when I am 25, 26, I'm going to start when confidence will never come. You create confidence yourself. So when you sit down and start thinking that confidence will come one day, ama when I grow up, ama wanze kuliza, I'm supposed to do it when I'm done with campus, you know, hapo ndo nitakuwa nimegrow na brain imegrow. That is what is covering actually many people right now, saying that they are waiting to finish now their 844 system and then now start realizing what they want to do again in the society. But one thing I will say is that confidence doesn't come. It is created. You have to face fear. You have to face every obstacle on your way. You have to create the person you want to be, and again, you have to write your story. So if you sit down at the back and imagine that person that you're gonna be, but you're not facing it, you're not making effort to become that person, then itaisha. Like unasemanga, ushesikia mtu anasema ati dreams zangu zilikufa. By the way, mimi nilishaitaka kuwa hii but ikakufa. Why did it die? Because you didn't face that person that you wanted to become. It's just in your mind. but you've not faced them. So face it.
Wow, amazing. Sasa, sijui what's going to stop you from becoming who you're supposed to become or doing what you're supposed to do, because like she has said, just face it. My pastor loves saying, do it afraid. Just do it. Are you afraid? Do it. At the end of the day, you're going to look back and be like, I actually did it, yeah? But fear, and the moment you give room to fear, it goes on developing and increasing, and you'll actually never do whatever it is that you wanted to do. And that is also about self-doubt. So how does someone kind of fight self-doubt? Because most of the times there are thoughts of, I'm not enough, will people really accept me, I'm not fluent, I don't think I am beautiful for ladies, I don't think I am enough to do this, probably even the age, I'm very young, or even people say I'm very old, too old to do this. So how does someone come to deal with self-doubt?
Again, self-doubt is like self-limiting yourself to become the person that you want to be. Let me go back to personal branding. Personal branding is not about the followers that you have, how beautiful you are, or rather how much money you have. Self-branding is the values that you have and carry inside you and how you portray to the society. So the society takes you as who you are, you know, and if you allow the society to create their own story for you, they will, and you will not fight the self-doubt, you know. One of the things that limits young people from becoming better people is doubting themselves. You know, I don't have the power, I am not capable, I am not this, I need this, I need this. Trust me, when I started Mindset, I had, of course I'm a student, I didn't have money, I didn't know where to start. I had those doubts. I had, you know, how am I going to start? Again, as I said, I'm 19. How am I going to face these big people? How am I going to step into these big places? But I faced it. You have to face your limitations. You have to face that self-doubt, you know. You have to believe that you're enough. God tells us that you're enough. There is no place that God tells us that there's one person who has limitations and another one who does not have. Sindio. So as long as you believe in Christ and you know that God has given you everything, you have all it takes to become a better person in the society. It starts by believing. Believe not only in yourself, but also in God. You know, believe that God has already given you the mandate to give service. What is remaining is asking, what service am I going to deliver? So face that self-doubt, face that fear. Again, self-doubt is like fear, because you're limiting yourself to become a better person. Yeah. So face it, you know. Again, believe in yourself and believe in what has been installed in you, right? So it doesn't matter the age you're in. It doesn't matter. Again, personally, I don't believe people saying I am not beautiful. I don't look good enough, because God has told us you're fearfully and wonderfully made. Yeah. We cannot look all the same, right? Hata huyo mwenye unaonanga akiwa extra beautiful, trust me, sometimes they feel ni kama
something that am I really
utasikia hata anasema mguu yangu my hands so whatever you have is what is yours, and you can never change your physical appearance. Hata ufanye lipo, BBL and all that, the origin is the origin, you know. So believe in what God has installed in you. Believe in the person that you're in and face that self-doubt.
Okay, amazing. Wow. This is a very interesting segment and a very interesting conversation, because I'm very sure so many people know they can do things. So many people know they are meant to do something, but wanaogopa. And that makes me remember, most of the times when we look at young people, they think about the job, easy kazi kama kuuza smocha, such kinds of things, kuuza njugu. Those are things that young people feel like, I can't do this. And probably that is what they're supposed to start before it grows into a very big business, or before it booms, or before they meet the destiny connector that they're supposed to meet. So quickly, because our time is far much gone, what advice would you tell someone who knows they're supposed to be doing something, or they have an idea that has been coming to their mind? What if I start selling umbrellas right now at Wananyeshewa, you know, or what if I start doing this and that, but they have self-doubt, they feel like they're ashamed, hiyo kazi sasa nimesoma, nimemaliza campus, nitafanya aje kazi kama hiyo? So maybe you can tell us about, you can advise such a person.
Okay, what I would advise them ni start small. If that is where you feel your destiny will spur ama your financial freedom will begin, start from there. Face that shame. You know, shame begins, everything begins in your mind. Unajua unaweza kuwa unadhani, unaweza kuwa hapa nadhani wewe una feel najaibisha nadhani, but where your mind is not even there. Like unapita town unasikia sasa huyu ananionaje nabeba njugu, akili yake hata inafikiria familia yake, they're not even thinking about
they
you.
They could even be proud of you.
Exactly. Maybe hata in their mind anasema mtoto wangu angekuwa anafanya hivi, singekuwa nateseka kumtafutia pocket money every time. So that everything begins from your mind. It's all about the mindset. What you think people are thinking about you is what will drive you, you know. Just wake up, start it with a positive mindset again. You know, hiyo akili ya kusema sijui nani ataniona, wewe ndio unaona anakuona hivyo, but they don't even see, their mind is not even there, they're not even focused to that person you think they're creating you. Again, I said, what you give the society is what they will take you for. So if you give confidence to the society, they will take you as a confident person. If you stand up, take those umbrellas to the street, uziinue na watu waone like you're so confident, hata kila mtu atakuwa, you know, so good about it. And that is why recently actually people are wame trend juu ya hiyo, you know, being outgoing for the small things that you're doing, you know, and that is how the society itakuperceive as a good person, as a confident person. So it all starts in your mindset. If you see yourself as a self-limited person ama watu watakuview, that is what will drive you, and you will keep on sitting down. You will never start what you want to start. So beat that fear by standing up and going for it with a positive mindset, not focusing on what people will say.
Amazing. I hope you've loved our discussion for the day. I hope you've learned a thing or two, because it is very, very important to walk in the purpose that God has ordained for you. And like she said, every one of us has a path. Every one of us has a purpose that God specifically wants you to walk into. So don't be afraid, don't have doubt, go for it. Make sure that you just start it afraid, be confident, and don't care about what people think about. Just have a positive mindset and you're going to go for it. So you've said about you have a team, so probably are people allowed to join your team? And if they would love to join your team, how can they access you?
Yeah, we have a team. You can find us at Instagram, the Mindset Elevation Circle. You can find me on TikTok, the Ascent Circle by Peshi. We now have a YouTube channel, the Ascent Circle by Peshi. You can find us there. Again, you can also contact me personally, my number.
Okay, you want to give the number?
Yeah, you can. 0796683307.
Again?
0796683307.
Amazing. We have been here with her and we've loved the amazing discussion. I hope you've learned. Personally, mimi nimesoma vitu mingi sana, a lot, because at the end of the day, it's what you're doing. And Sisi, as people, we're going to treat you however you make us see you, like how you're going to portray yourself, how you carry yourself. That's how we get to judge you. That's how we're going to treat you. And that is something that I have actually learned. And it's very good to be very confident. Confidence is key. Consistency is key. Saizi, we are in the era of social media. Make sure if it's a photo, just post daily. Just drop your video daily if that's all you have to do. But make sure that at the end of the day, you're not just delayed. You're not just staying there, pitting yourself. You're doing something that is positive and it's going to work towards you growing your brand. Yes, this has been Y254 channel. And in the morning, I was here with James John with the amazing discussion. He also came here with Pastor Polisi, who has had an amazing discussion, and he also showed us that actually not all policemen are evil, as most of us have always thought about. And now we have been with her with this amazing discussion all around mindset. And I hope your mindset is now shifted. Focus. What does God want you to do? Something that she said, the first thing or the first place or advice that she gives to anyone is look unto God. What is God saying? What does God want you to do? What is the plan of God for that specific season or for your life? I hope you've enjoyed this the discussion that we've had all along the day. I have been your host, Eliza Kimani, and that is it for Why in the Morning today here at Y254 channel. And don't forget that we are on all social media platforms at Y254 channel. For me, you can find me on all my socials at Eliza Kimani. Thank you so much for staying with us. Usiende mahali, because we still have a lot lined up for you. But for now, kwaheri, see you tomorrow.